1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're working. So today on live streaming, this whole video, this whole session is dedicated to one of my new Upright Health members. Stephcheddarmonk sent me a message that basically said she's looking for some exercises to do for the wrists and hands for her son. She has been using the Back Pain Fix program on my website, and her son's been enjoying doing those follow-along workouts with her to improve his body, and he's also in need of stuff for his hands and wrists. And if you have hand and wrist pain, like I used to have excruciating hand and wrist pain, this routine is going to be really helpful for you. So I'm going to show you in this video the exact exercises that I use. Just a few of them because I don't like to spend my entire day exercising, despite what you might think. I'm going to show you the very simple stretches I use, the very simple strengthening exercises I use to make sure that my wrists and hands feel good despite using the computer all the time. So if you're a heavy phone user, heavy tablet, keyboard, whatever user, and you have hand and wrist pain, then you should watch through this entire video. I'm going to show you everything that I do. So if you're ready, let's get ready to think right, move right, and feel right. I'm going to take this off the screen, and then we are going to get started. Alrighty. So, here we go. Oh, I see some people are in the chat. Hey everybody, we are doing some wrist stretching stuff, so let's get right into it. What I'm going to start off with first is stretches for the forearm and the wrist, because most of the time we're living in this kind of like tippity tap, click, click, clap, 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 clap with your thumb, and that's not really giving you any range of motion maintenance for your wrists, right? Your wrists are just stuck, locked into this or locked into that. So what we're gonna do is on the floor, you're just gonna put your palms on the floor with your fingers pointing away from you so you can see it from the side, like so. And then you're gonna shift forward. So what happens when you shift forward over your hands is you start to close this angle. You're starting to open up the forearm. Okay, so you're just gonna shift forward. You can hang out there, and we're just gonna breathe. Take like 5 nice slow breaths. If you feel a stretch, great. You shouldn't push into a hard jamming sensation. That's not what we're looking for. You're looking for a stretch sensation in the forearms. Let's call that 3 since I talk so much. 4. And last one. 5. Now, we're going to actually press into the floor, and then we're going to be pressing up, right? So it's like we're doing a little mini push-up, but with our forearm, wrist, finger muscles. So really feel like you're actually pushing into the floor as you come up. Now don't do this so hard that you feel like you're going to break something, okay? Fast is foolish, slow is safe. So you want to feel those muscles doing something, but you don't want to feel like you're overriding them. Okay, so we're doing 2. This will be 3. We're going to do 2 more. We're just going to do a total of 5, just slow. I'm going slow. And 5. Okay, so nice and simple. Okay, then you come on out of that. You should feel like you have used the muscles that go from wrist down into your hands and into your palm. Okay, so that should feel like you just open up a little range of motion into your wrists. It should feel like those are a little more awake. Now we've gone this direction. We want to do the other direction as well. So now we're going to put the backs of our hands on the floor. I suggest again that you go slow because fast is foolish, right? So we're going to start off like this, and then you're just going to start rocking back towards your heels, just looking for a stretch sensation on the top of the forearm and along the wrist here. Okay, so we're just going to back it up, and we're going to take 5 slow breaths here. Only go to where you feel like it's a challenge to muscles. You should not feel like you're jamming into something. If you feel like you're jamming, then move forward a little bit so it's not so intense. And I'll call that 3 since, again, I talk so much. That's 4. And that's 5. Now, playing on that same theme of strength at every length, okay, that same way we did earlier, we did a little bit of like a little mini push-up. We're going to do that here, but please be very careful here. You're going to think about using the muscles on the back of your wrists to kind of lift you up. You, unless you are some sort of incredible wrist strength freak, are not going to have very strong muscles on the back of your wrists. So be very gentle, give yourself enough assist from the rest of your body to make it feel like it's doable, but that you're still using those muscles, okay? So we're just lifting and lowering slowly, really feeling for activation along this side of our forearms and wrists. So let's go ahead and go up. I don't even know what number we're at. Let's say that's 3. Well, let's start at 1. Let's go 2. 3, 4, and one more time, 5, cool. Then go ahead and ease out of that. Let your hands and wrists rest now, because that should be a very weird, different kind of work than they're used to. Okay, so now we've done a little bit to open this up, we've done a little bit to open that up, and work both sides. Now I want to do a little bit of a finger stretch. So since we're already on the floor, we're just going to put our fingertips on the floor. Fingertips are facing me. And you're just going to think about stretching out the base of each finger on the floor. Okay? So hopefully you can see that from the side. There's a gap here so that I can focus the stretch along the finger here, along the ligaments and tendons there, or the tendons there that cross right at that joint. Okay, we're just gonna hang out there. And of course, attenuate this. Make sure you're not pushing so hard that it's horrible and painful. Good. And then we're going to relax. Let those poor little finger muscles rest. Then we're going to sit down, and I want to do a little bit to build up strength, more strength in the wrist and forearms. So a little bit of background here. Starting at the age of like 15, 16, I started getting really bad wrist issues. So I've done a lot of thinking about wrist pain issues, and I've played with a lot of different things, a lot of stretching, a lot of resting and icing. I've played with a lot of wrist braces and all that stuff to try to heal my arm and wrist pain. I thought at some point carpal tunnel definitely fit all the symptom list for thoracic outlet syndrome. And doctors were always totally useless in helping me. It was basically just pop more pills unless you want to cut something or slice something in your wrist and hope that somehow makes your body feel better. So eventually I realized over time that using the computer, not only does it stiffen and just lock the range of motion in the wrist, but it also weakens. And I know I've seen this in other people. I don't think it's true for everybody, so it's something you're gonna have to experiment with, but I know for me, typing and using the phone atrophy the muscles in my forearms. And I don't just mean like, oh, they slowly get weaker. I mean, if I spend a day typing, then I'm gonna notice that blood vessels in my arms actually disappear. I'm gonna notice that my wrist feels like it clicks more and it feels more unstable. The actual amount of meat in my my forearms and wrists will actually be noticeably less. And if I do it like multiple days in a row without counteracting it, it's going to be very noticeable. There will be no veins here. The amount that this muscle actually bulges will be significantly reduced until I do some of the exercises I'm going to show you now. So this is something I do fairly regularly. It may not be every day, but if I'm doing heavy computer usage, I will do it to make sure I don't let my arm muscles just disappear. Okay, so there's two ways to do this. I'm going to show you the first way because most people already have dumbbells at home. If you have dumbbells or you have access to a gym with dumbbells, this is very simple. You're just going to grab the dumbbells. You're going to have the your forearms resting on your knees here, and then you're just going to be curling up, okay? Just like this. Let me twist here so you can see. You're just curling up and slowly back down, okay? This is not my favorite way to do it, but if all I have around is a set of dumbbells, then this is what I'll do. And if this is all you have, do this. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going, and we're gonna keep going until you get fatigue in the forearms. I don't know why I grabbed this particular set of weights because these are a little bit too light to get the effect I want, but you will need to play with the amount of weight that you need. I would just start light. If you have no experience whatsoever doing anything with weight, just start lighter, just go 5 pounds. And then if that doesn't feel like it's much of a challenge and you can do it seemingly endlessly, then you can go ahead and bump that weight up to like 10 pounds and then 15, 20, 30. Use a barbell as you get stronger and stronger and you keep loading it up. I don't even know if it comes through on the video here, but from my vantage point, I can see blood starting to engorge the forearms here. So I'm starting to see the vein start popping up again. Now, normally I would want to use heavier weight so that I could get that result faster. And what that ends up doing is it starts to feel like it stabilizes around the elbow because this whole area of muscle starts to perk up. Muscle that helps stabilize this part of my wrist and hand start to perk up, and that feels really good. So you're just going until fatigue. Hopefully you had a weight that fatigues you, and then you're gonna go ahead and turn it over and do the opposite. Now, this position, I like to use something to raise the hand up a little bit because being here over the knee just doesn't feel like the right angle. So having this there just makes it feel like maximum resistance occurs at a better position, at a better angle. Where down here, I just don't feel like it gets me what I want so much. So you can play with this again, but you're just gonna go until you get nice and fatigued. Also, I find personally that going up, doing this reverse curl, it just requires more focus, and I don't want to do it so often, just two hands at the same time with dumbbells in particular, because the angle on the lift is kind of off, right? It's not like they're both perfectly straight. It's a bit at an angle when you're at a neutral wrist. So it just feels funky to do. So I'll just go until I get fatigued, and then go ahead and switch sides. You can do this with me, especially if you're watching this on replay. And we're just gonna keep going until you get the wrist, or the forearm and wrist, to fatigue out. Maybe on video it'll show up, the veins on the top of my forearms are starting to pop up because blood's pumping through, because those muscles are working. And this is gonna help make the hands and wrists feel so much better after just sitting around tippity-tap typing. The big myth that everyone hears from their doctors and well-meaning health professionals is that typing is overusing the muscles of your forearms and wrists. The reality is typing doesn't require much muscle activation. It requires your biceps to basically hold your forearm in place. It requires a very tiny bit of muscle activation to maintain the wrists and hand position, but typing is not a high-intensity muscle activation activity. And what you're generally doing is a little bit of initiation to overcome the massive resistance of your keyboard, and then the keyboard helps pop your finger back up, and you use a little bit of the muscle around the fingers to lift the fingers back up as you're typing. That is such a tiny amount of muscle activation. It should be no wonder why these poor little muscles start to feel achy, because remember, atrophy aches. Okay, so the whole goal here with everything I'm showing you so far is to get the range of motion back that we lose from stiffening up in our typing position, and also use these muscles so that your hands and wrists feel stable. Okay, now I'm going to show you the next option. This is going to require equipment, and I have a link. I've made a video about how to make this. You can make it at home. It's not that hard. If you have tape and you have some weight and you have a stick, you can make this easily at home. If you have a drill, it's even better because you can make it a little more secure. I strongly recommend using a drill, but I know not everybody has a drill. So if all you do in this wrist routine is what I've shown you so far, you'll be good to go. I think that's a very reasonable way to keep your hands and wrists feeling good. This next part, this is what I actually do the most because it really helps keep my forearms feeling happy. So we can, instead of using the dumbbells, we can use a stick that has a piece of rope attached to some kind of weight. Again, I will link later on, if I remember, to the video that I made showing you how to do this, okay? You attach the rope in there, and then you can just wind that rope to move this weight up and down, okay? So all the exercises I just showed you with a dumbbell you can do using this. You can just use that wrapping motion to bring the weight up and use all the muscles we were just using when we were using the dumbbell, okay? And you can also do the eccentric, meaning you slowly go the opposite way and work that, okay? So there I get to work forearms, this nice underbelly of the forearms. And then if I want to do the other side, let's just do one more round because I think it'll feel good. I didn't get to do this yesterday. All right, so we go in there, going back down, and if we want to get the other side of our forearm, then we just put our hands like so and start winding up. Okay, so now I'm using those muscles, I'm pulling up. You'll see that on Amazon, at sporting goods stores, sometimes they sell forearm exercise, wrist, whatever exercise, wrist strengthener things that are similar to this. They're usually shorter. So they are cut only like this wide. I don't personally like that because it doesn't give you very many options for hand position. So if you make this yourself, it is probably about the same price as what you would buy at the store. And it also gives you options to just kind of play around with hand grips, which is why I really like having this longer stick, right? It's nice. And if you build it at home, you get to do the same thing for yourself. So you can play around. The reason this is important is if you have just this narrow grip available, the angle on your wrists, the angle that you can make with your wrists here is determined by the shape of this bar. And so if you want to get into different positions or even a little more neutral position, you actually have to twist and torque the stick a little bit. And if it's a short bar, it's really kind of annoying. Where a long bar, I can just rest it here. I can do whatever I want. I can pretend I'm playing hockey and do things like this. I can do whatever I want, different angles, different positions. I can help, I can not help. I can go over here and load it differently. All those things are really helpful depending on what your wrists need to do, okay? So we're just gonna be going, first you go the underside, then you go this way, and then slowly back down. And then the coup de grace, the one that I like the most for just targeting this side of my forearm and wrist to reduce the clicking and what I thought was a TFCC ligament tear. You can look that up on Google. I came across it after years of feeling like, God, my outer wrist hurts and clicks and feels loose. I came across this, we'll just say, pseudoscientific. Diagnosis of TFCC, I forgot, it's like triangular fibrocartilaginous something tear. And basically, it's where orthopedic surgeons say you're a genetic defect or something, or you managed to injure it, and the solution is to cut up your wrist and do stupid things. So anyway, here's how I have fixed this, and here's how I make sure it feels stable on that side and stops clicking in my wrist. You take the bar, you have it so that the string is wrapping down this way so it's closer to me. You grab the stick out over here, and then you lift. So what we've done is we've forced these muscles to lift that weight. Okay, so a little physics lesson here. The longer I make the lever arm, the more work that those muscles have to do. So if I go over here, the distance from that weight is much farther, and it's actually too heavy for me to even lift, right? I can't do it. It's the same weight, but the lever is so much longer, I can't do it. So if you have a stick and you have a light weight, you can do this. If you have a broomstick or a shovel even, something with a stick and a weight on the end, you can do this exercise to strengthen that forearm and wrist so that it feels much more stable. And then we'll go to the other side. I've done a terrible job of counting. I'm sorry, stephcheddarmonk and your son. I intended for this to be more of a follow along, but I really want to explain all these things. Maybe I'll do another follow along for you all later. So we're just going to keep going until fatigue. And just working those muscles there. Again, if you want more challenge, add some lever length. And that leverage will make it a lot harder. Okay, boom, boom, boom. All right, so we got the fatigue. We got the hands and wrists now. Good range of motion. We got the muscles pumped up with a little bit of blood. And we've now counteracted all the aching of atrophy from sitting in front of a keyboard all day long, or typing on your phone, or swiping left and swiping right, or whatever you're doing on your phone. So hopefully that helps you out. I hope this makes sense. All you really need are the dumbbells, but I highly, highly recommend you build something like this for yourself. I will link to that video. It's just such a big help. And if you don't have that right now and you want to do that outer forearm stuff, then you just go ahead and grab a stick and attach some sort of weight to it, and then using the leverages, you can make it work. You will make this work, okay? So now let me pop over here. This is the magic of health and fitness live streaming. I do want to say a big thanks to all these people that you see here. These people are members, Upright Health members. So Sarah, Kendrick, Ryan, Lee, Moon Dancer, Tom, Cher, Abigail, M. Lico, Sandy, I don't even know how to say it, Luma Sochi, Buddha Babe, Leo Fred, Dr. Osekum, Leslie Rogers, Heidi Fisher, Nan Martin, and there's that stephcheddarmonk. And thanks for the inspiration for this video. I've been meaning to do a wrist video for a while, but your message, really helpful in the members only posting community area. And Adele, thanks so much, everybody. And now I'm just gonna take maybe 2 questions. I'm gonna check 2 questions here. Let me scroll through the chat over here and see what we got. Let's see. Let's see if we can find a quick little question here. Greetings to everybody out there. Okay, so I have a bad knee and it's hard training with my bad knee. How can I train my legs? So that's a great question. Jean-Claude Boutique. I have a couple videos that I recently put out about knee pain. Just go check those out. Those should help you out a lot. Just real basic beginner level stuff to try to get your knees feeling a little more secure before you start doing anything heavier or harder. You just got to start slow. Remember, slow is safe, fast is foolish. So go check out those videos. I think you'll see like Asian squat for knee pain, or yeah, knee pain during the Asian squat. I forgot the title, but if you just look for Asian squat knee pain, you'll find something. I also have a recent video about knee pain as you get older. And then I think there are some actual very beginner exercises in there. And if that doesn't do it for you, you can also check out the knee pain going upstairs or knee pain going downstairs. Those videos should help you just start restoring some of that function. And if you haven't checked out Knees Over Toes Guy, did I say that right? Knees Over Toes Guy on YouTube. Amazing channel, a lot of good ideas, fantastic ideas. So you should check him out. And yeah, that's it. Looks like I don't have any other massive questions. Z Zoe, exercises for rotator cuff and Achilles. You're asking about the upper body and the lower body? Yeah, so rotator cuff, if you check out some recent video that I did, I think it's for rounded shoulders, you'll see there's an exercise where you're going like this, and that one is super, super, super helpful. Just that's obvious rotator cuff stuff. Achilles stuff, I actually don't think I have anything, but basically you should be doing some ankle mobility work and calf raises. So I think actually, oh yeah, ankle mobility video for Asian squat. So Asian squat tutorial, ankle mobility, I think was the title. Check that one out. That'll give you some stuff to do for your ankles. So big thanks to everybody for tuning in. If you want to support this channel, you can use the thanks button, join, become a member, support me, and get access to exclusive perks and cool little badges and stuff here on Upright Health. If you don't want to do that, that's cool. Just keep tuning in, keep hitting the like button, sharing, and obviously you've subscribed, but make sure all your friends subscribe too, and maybe your parents. Maybe they should be watching. Who knows? Thanks so much. I hope you always remember that pain sucks, life shouldn't. Later, guys.